Welcome to this explainer. You know, every successful modern company out there relies on what is essentially an invisible nervous system. Today, we're demystifying exactly what that is. We're diving deep into the foundational role of management information systems, or MIS, in today's corporate landscape. Whether you're a seasoned manager or you're just stepping into the business world, understanding how to actually manage a digital firm, well, it's absolutely paramount. Let's get into it. Let's start with a number, $3.6 trillion. That was the massive worldwide scale of global e-commerce back in 2019. And within that, mobile retail e-commerce alone was growing by more than 20% a year, hitting almost $300 billion by 2020. I mean, that staggering scale justifies exactly why understanding business technology is so critical right now. We aren't just talking about fixing broken computers in the IT department. We are talking about the literal trillion-dollar engines driving global trade. If you don't understand the systems behind these numbers, you simply can't compete, period. So to unpack all of this, we're going to follow a clear zoom-in, zoom-out roadmap. First, we'll look at the digital business landscape. Second, why businesses need IT. Third, defining information systems. Fourth, the anatomy of a system. And finally, the broader business environment. All right, starting with Section 1, the digital business landscape. Our corporate world is currently being completely shaped and honestly shaken up by several massive IT innovations. We're talking about the rapid expansion of cloud computing, the heavy processing of big data, the interconnectedness of the Internet of Things, the sudden rise of AI and machine learning, and, of course, the heavy use of social networks for business. These aren't just buzzwords, right? They represent the vast modern scope of technology that is actively driving and transforming corporate operations around the globe every single second. And what's truly fascinating here is how these technologies haven't just improved the old ways of working, they've created entirely new business models. Think about online streaming platforms like Netflix and Apple TV channels, or massive digital storefronts like the App Store, Microsoft Store, and gaming platforms like Steam. These IT innovations allow organizations to be so much more collaborative with far less emphasis on those traditional, slow-moving hierarchies. Instead, they operate on high-speed, highly accurate decision-making that's based entirely on data and analysis. It's a real game changer. Which brings us to Section 2, why businesses need IT. Listen, firms aren't just spending massive amounts of money on technology for the fun of it. The strategic stakes are incredibly high here. Businesses invest heavily in IT to support decision-making and control, to achieve a serious competitive advantage, and frankly, to ensure corporate survival. But to actually pull this off, there is a growing, vital interdependence between the technology a company uses and the corporate goals it's targeting. You absolutely require strict IT business alignment. Managers today have to be flexible, adaptable, and know exactly how to use the right IT to achieve their specific business strategies. Moving on to Section 3, defining information systems. Okay, if you take only one concept away from this entire explainer, let it be this clear distinction. People so often use the terms data and information interchangeably, but they are very, very different. Data refers to streams of raw, unorganized facts. It's chaotic, it's overwhelming, and honestly, on its own, it isn't very helpful. Information, on the other hand, is that raw data shaped into a meaningful, useful form. Think of it as the journey from a raw, unrefined material to a highly refined, super valuable product. This exact journey acts kind of like a bow tie. Imagine on the left side, we have our raw data, a chaotic stream of receipts reading things like 331 bright dish soap 1.29. To a manager, that's just noise. But right in the middle, acting as the ultimate filter, is the information system. It takes those chaotic inputs, processes them, and pushes out clear, resolved information on the right side. Now you have highly useful regional sales figures showing, say, over 7,000 units of bright dish soap sold for over $9,000 in year-to-date sales. The system is quite literally what turns the noise into knowledge. Let's look closer at that filter in Section 4, the anatomy of a system. Every single information system, no matter how insanely complex it might seem, relies on 4 fundamental activities to produce that actionable information. First up is input. That's gathering the raw data. Second is processing, classifying, arranging, and calculating all that data. Third is output, transferring the refined information to the actual people who will use it. And fourth is feedback. This is crucial. It's returning a portion of the output back to the appropriate members of the organization to help them evaluate or correct the input phase. But, academic definitions can only get us so far. So, how does this actually look in real life? Let's pivot from the textbook theory to a highly relatable, everyday application that I guarantee every single one of you has used. Let's see how this whole anatomy builds using the classic ATM experience. When you walk up to an ATM, you engage with all 4 steps of an information system. Your input is inserting your bank card and typing in your PIN. The processing happens behind the scenes when the bank's system verifies your identity, checks your account balance, records the transaction, and retrieves the specific dollar amount you asked for. Finally, the output is the physical cash dispensed right to you, along with the on-screen display of your updated balance details. It's a perfect closed-loop information system in a box.
All right, let's zoom back out for section 5, the broader business environment.
So, taking that macro view again, it's absolutely crucial to realize that no information system exists in a vacuum. A system is constantly being pressured and shaped by 6 external environmental realities. You've got politics, such as changes in government policy; economics, like fluctuating market demand; society, which dictates the social expectations of right and wrong business practices; technology itself, like the massive shift from 4G to 5G networks; legal constraints, such as new greenhouse gas reduction targets or strict food coloring regulations; and finally, the physical environment, including geographic location and even unpredictable weather patterns. All these external forces dictate exactly how a system must operate. Bringing this all together, you can see our core system right in the middle: input, processing, output, and feedback. But look at what surrounds it. The system is nested inside the organization, and outside of that is the broader environment we just talked about. There is a constant, highly dynamic feedback loop happening here, not just internally, but externally, with key players like suppliers, customers, regulatory agencies, stockholders, and competitors. For example, a sudden change from a regulatory agency, well, that feeds directly back into what data the core system must now process. It's all connected. So, to truly master and manage the digital firm, you have to synthesize everything into 3 interconnected dimensions: organizations, management, and technology. You simply cannot just buy the newest, flashiest technology and expect overnight success. You need the management skills to apply it strategically and the organizational structure to actually support it. Think of them as 3 legs of the same stool. Remove one, and the whole thing topples over. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a challenge. Tomorrow, look around your own workplace, your specific industry, or heck, even your favorite app on your phone. What are the unseen information systems filtering the noise of raw data into the information you use every single day? And more importantly, which environmental factors, from shifting societal expectations to brand new legal regulations, are currently forcing those systems to adapt and change? Understanding that dynamic is the true key to managing the digital firm. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep looking for those systems hiding in plain sight.